Brett, no one's hearing. Can you look in the social hall and chase people in? It's a very lopsided community tonight. I don't know, like, if I say Rabbi and the cantor, I always want to sit near the cantor. I know that's where all the fun stuff's coming. "25 seconds, come on in, take a seat." 25 seconds. You would think it's raining tonight with this crowd. You got nobody on this side today. Yeah. Well, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, you know. Aaron, you ready for tomorrow? Boy, that was like immediate and confident. Love that. And too bad he's too young to play in our poker tournament. All right. Our timer just ended. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Nicole and Brett, come on in. Grab a seat. Wayner, grab a seat. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It is great to see everyone here tonight, both those who are in our sanctuary and those who are watching us over one of our many social media venues. However you're joining us tonight, we are happy to have you here. May the feeling of Shabbat, permeate everything you do for the next 24 hours. Before we begin, I want to give a shout out to Aaron Uzan, whose bar mitzvah is tomorrow. I would like to say there's one word I associate with Aaron, that's patience. When was your bar mitzvah originally supposed to be? 2 years ago. Was it like right the week after or a month after we went into lockdown? Yeah. He is now 15 and a half and finally having his bar mitzvah. So we expect him to be amazing tomorrow. But one thing he definitely is patient. So he has lived through a lot the last couple of years. So let's welcome Shabbat with a couple deep breaths in. So let's still our bodies. And let's take a moment to release that stress of rushing here tonight, or even rushing for the next room where we were having dinner with a small group. And let's take a deep breath in and hold it and let it out. Another deep breath in. Hold it and let it out. And one more deep breath in. Hold it and let it out. And let's sing along with Joel as we welcome Shabbat into our lives. Helen Keller once wrote, "It is a moment I shall never forget. I was alone and unable to communicate with anyone. I did not know the names of anything. I did not even know that things had names. Then one day, after she had tried a number of approaches, my teacher held my hand under the water pump on our farm. And as the cool water ran over my hand and arm, she spelled the word water into my other hand. She spelled it over and over, and suddenly I knew there was a name for things." Being alone is against human nature. We search for ways to communicate. We search for community. And as Helen said, I would never be completely alone again. Whether or not we believe in God or Judaism or cantors and rabbis, we come together for connection. The connection found in community. We know that by entering this space on a Friday night, we will never be alone. For us, our water is Shabbat, our teacher is the Sabbath bride, and our language is Judaism. The Sabbath teaches us that we are never completely alone. So as a community, let us welcome in the Sabbath bride with Al-Chado D, found on page 138. And we'll be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, rising if we are able for that final verse and facing the back door. Joel?
B'nei Shabbat nekabela lechadodi likra kala B'nei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad yishmi'anu El hameyuchad Adonai echad ושמו אחד לשם ותפארת ולתהילה לחדודי יקרא קהלה בני שבת נקבלה לחדודי יקרא קהלה בני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונרחקים מקור הברכה מראש מקדם משוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לחדודי יקרא קהלה בני שבת נקבלה חדותי יקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי שיר דבר כבוד אדוני עלייך נקרא, וחדותי נקרא קהלה, פני שבת לקבלה, לחדותי נקרא קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We rise and face the back door.
בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה, ובצוהלה תוך אמונה עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לחדותי נקרא קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לחדותי נקרא קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. יא לילה 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 לילה.
You may be seated. In a text that is nearly 2,000 years old, a commentary on our Torah, it teaches us the following. If one does a mitzvah, a good deed, one is given one angel. And if one does two mitzvah, two good deeds, one is given two angels. And if one does many good deeds, one is given many angels. And what do these angels do? They guard people against bad things happening. They make peace for them. So tonight, in just a moment, we're going to welcome angels into our lives by singing Shalom Aleichem. And let's remember that we can multiply the number of angels that we have on a daily basis. Angels that will protect us just by increasing our good deeds. For every good deed, creates more goodness in the world. Shalom Aleichem, page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ruachem leshalom, Malachi hashalom, Malachi elyon. Mi melech malchi hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barechuni leshalom, Malachi hashalom, Malachi elyon. Mi melech malchi hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzilchem leshalom, Malachi hashalom, Malachi elyon. Mi melech malchi hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
I'd like to ask Aaron to bring his family forward to light tonight's candles. You doing it or is your mom? As we light these candles, they become the gateway to which the Sabbath bride and the angels we just sang about enter our lives. And the idea is we create this holy gateway, represented by this light, so that we always remember that we have to have our doors open to others, so that we can help them in any way we can. And now the lighting of our candles, the blessing.
Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav V'tzivanu להדליק נר וציוונו להדליק נר וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
And to the entire family, a big mazel tov. I know that tomorrow will be a great day of celebration. You guys can turn to your seats. We turn to page 146 for the Baruch Hu. I'd like everyone to rise if they are able as we face the ark for our call to worship. Page 146.
Lai 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 Baruch hu et Adonai hamevor Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Vaed HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
We continue with the Shema. The Shema speaks about unity, about oneness, about how we are all connected. And it also speaks about generations, because we are connected to the past, to the present, and to the future. We are part of a chain of tradition, a chain of lives that continues on and on, with each good idea being passed forward, each moment of love being passed forward, each kind deed being passed forward. So let's take a moment and cover our eyes. Be present in this moment as we sing the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated unless your name is Aaron, and then you need to come forward and go to the cantor's bima. Aaron will be helping lead us tonight in the V'ahavta. I'm going to remind everyone this is not a solo. He is leading us in prayer, so please sing along, participate, and make him feel like the leader that he is tonight. We are on page 154 for the V'ahavta. And into the mic.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom levavecha Vishinantam levanecha veribarta bam befifecha uvecha vuvitecha vederech ushobecha uvukmecha ukshartam leot al yadecha vehayuv tutafo beinenecha Uftaftam al mezuzot betecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem yoshim le'elhechem ani Adonai Elohim asher Hotzeti hem me'eretz Mitzrayim le'yot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Yasher koach.
Keep that up, and you're even going to be more amazing tomorrow. We turn to page 159. Let's do a little reading together. If everyone could open their books and turn to page 159. And as an introduction to Michal Molka, we'll read this short poem. Sing the song of men and women, join in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Michal Molka, page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני יהי לו לעולם ועד, אדוני יהי לו לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלי אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. יא לי לי, יא לה 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 לה, יא לי לי לי, יא לה 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 לה, יא לי לה לה לה, יא לי לה לה לה, לה 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 לה.
Let's turn to page 162. And in the middle of the page, let us read the translation of Vishamru together. The middle of page 162. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Today I came across a text from the Talmud that is very simple, but it reads, when daylight comes, the sick person rises. And I began to think about this idea. What does it mean when daylight comes, the sick person rises? And I began to think about the hope we give those who are sick by calling them, by bringing a meal over, by sending a card or visiting. That each time we are that light, that daylight that enters their presence, we are helping them rise back to full health, just by a little bit. And so whenever you have a chance to reach out to someone, who is on our Misha Barak list, or someone who needs assistance in your own life, realize that you're that daylight that comes into their lives, that helps lift them up. Currently on our Misha Barak list, Wayne Shaw, Ronnie Rothstein, Debbie Schwartz, Alex Avlas, the Ray family, David Berger, Abby Rapport, Sandy Glauber, Renee Ross, Joyce Rubel, Ron Jacobs, Joyce Stern, Mark Jeff Stickler, Eric Wacha, Ed Edelson, Leanne Rosenberg, Jeffrey Albaum, Janet Blake, Pam Branner, Lynn Newman, Emily Zastro, Mark Mann, Gail Benzaquin, Morden Yevzeros, Karen Zelenka Lee, Roz Millett, Susie Newborn, Barry Ross, Lisa Sage, Baylor Robinson, Diana Carew, Judith Amdur, Michael Prince. We also think of those suffering in the Ukraine, those injured due to border challenges, those healing from all too frequent gun violence, those affected by terrorist attacks and environmental challenges, and all those caring for the ill, for they too need support. If you have an additional name for a Misha Barak list, please share it with me now. Thank you, Vicki. Mishaberach Avatenu V'Yimatenu. May the God of our ancestors grant our Fuah Shlema, complete and full healing, to all those we name this evening, and to all those we hold in our hearts. And together we say, the singing of Mishaberach, page 371.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu Mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Let us turn to page 164 for the Amidah, the standing prayer. And if you're able to stand, we ask you to do that. But I always think about what it means, the standing prayer. Perhaps it's the time for us to stand up and fully immerse ourselves in prayer, to place our hearts so completely into what we're saying that we become one with our words, or one with our thoughts, if the words we're not saying do not correlate perfectly. So let us rise and think about what it means to stand, to be present, to be at one with our prayer, the prayer of our hearts, our minds, our emotions. Page 164.
Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Agiteilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל, אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue silently through page 180. When you're done with your silent prayer, you may be seated.
יהיו לרצון עם רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך יהיו לרצון עם רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Vegoali, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Vegoali, Yehiu leratzon, im refi. והגיון ליבי לפניך יהיו לרצון עם רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי
California and so much of the West, we spend a lot of time thinking about water. We think about water almost on a daily basis. How we've had so many, am I not on? How we've had so many droughts, water crises, and finally we get these Those batteries are dead too, but we'll see how long they last. I got 1 bar. Yeah. Welcome to the technical side of Judaism. I'm just going to leave this right here for you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not worried.
Yep. Close enough.
Yep, there we go. Wayne, I have extra work for you on the board right now. We have a number of garbage cans and floors that need to be washed. Let's get back to water for a minute. Our Torah portion is filled with stories about water. The book of Exodus, when we think about water, we think about Miriam so often. But I was thinking about Moses. Not about Miriam's relationship, but Moses' relationship. Because Moses, he's supposed to be put to death. We have that decree about the Nile where the Pharaoh says everybody should take their young boys and drown them in the Nile. What a lovely thought. And his mother, Moses' mother, and his sister, really, they don't break this rule of placing the baby in the Nile. They just come, up with a workaround. They don't throw the baby in alone. They put a wicker basket around him. And that workaround allows the water to carry him away instead of killing him. And so water in this case ends up being his salvation because he could no longer live with his family. He would be discovered, and the Egyptians probably would have just thrown him directly in. We see other occasions for water throughout this Torah portion because we're in Egypt and the Nile runs straight through it. And the Nile is that body of water that gives life to so much of the land and the people. Today's Torah portion of Vayera, Moses on the banks of the Nile. It's a place where he should have died but instead was saved. A place where he bathed and probably played during the first 40 years of his life while living as an Egyptian prince. And there's probably a place for Moses that was filled with memories because he spent time there with his Egyptian mother, the daughter of Pharaoh, and probably with his own mother. But we have to realize that today's Torah portion, he's now 80 years old. He's come back, and in this Torah portion, we have the first 7 plagues. He's on a mission. He didn't come back for a visit to remember old haunts, to take another swim in the Nile. And so that first plague takes place at the Nile, at that place that had saved him. God says to Moses, go to Pharaoh in the morning. Station yourself to meet him by the shore of the Nile, and the staff that changed into a snake, take that in your hand and say to the Pharaoh, the God of the Hebrews has sent me to you. Set free my people that they may serve me in the wilderness. But you haven't listened, Pharaoh, so I will strike with the staff that is in my hand upon the water that is in the Nile, and it will change into blood. So in this case, we're told that Moses is going to take a negative action against the Nile. He's going to strike it. It's going to turn into blood. But that's not what happens. It's actually his brother Aaron who takes this action. As the Torah reads, Aaron raised the staff, and Aaron struck the water. And before the eyes of the Pharaoh and the eyes of the servants, the water of the Nile changed into blood. And the fish died, and they reeked. And the Egyptians could not drink that water. The blood was throughout all the land of Egypt. So why did Aaron have to take this action and not Moses? Perhaps Moses couldn't hurt the water that had saved him. There's a commentary that says almost exactly that. It says, the water which protected you when you were cast into the Nile would not be smitten by your hand. See, the water not only protected him, but it also given him memories. He couldn't turn against it. Even God is aware that Moses has a unique relationship with this body of water because that water was used for his salvation. And without water, where would he be? So Moses is instructed to develop sensitivity to situations, and we see that Moses develops a sensitivity to situations from a very personal perspective. But this isn't the only interaction he had with water, because when he got to the Sea of Reeds, he took that staff and he did touch it to the water, and the water did split, as we all knew, as we all know. And the Israelites walked across, being saved, and not drowning in that water, but leaving the Egyptian army, well, to suffer when the water came back down. And so once again, a body of water has saved him, but has hurt others. And later, well, Moses provides water to the people, not once, but twice. Once in the book of Exodus, once in the book of Numbers. And both times the people were sated. Their thirst was sated. But in Numbers, he was punished for not following the command as God had told him to do it. He hit the rock instead of talking to it. So we all know from our Passover Seders that for Miriam, water was associated with joy. But for Moses, the relationship was more complex. He saw water take life. He saw water save life, both for himself and the whole Israelite nation. And he knew that he had to respect water because water can do both, as we have seen. It can both give us nourishment, but it can also take lives. And when we lose respect for our water and our water sources, when Moses hit that rock, showing that he no longer had respect for water coming out of the rock, even though it still did, well, we begin to punish ourselves, just as God had punished Moses. Because when he hit that rock, after that, God said, "You're not allowed into Canaan. You're only going to get to the edge." And when we don't show respect to our water sources, when we overwater our yards, when we don't understand that there is a drought going on, we too might become punished. All we have to do is look at that community outside of Scottsdale, Arizona, who had their water turned off in the past week, who now have to have water trucked in because, well, Scottsdale needed to retain its water just for its citizens. And so as we think about Moses and his unusual and his deep relationship with water, we need to realize that's not just Moses that the Torah is talking about. It's really each one of us. And that we need to think about our relationships with water and with nature. So on this Shabbat, may we be like Moses. May we have respect for the forces of nature that have the ability to both protect us and to harm us. And remember that respect can easily be lost with just a word or an inappropriate action, or an overuse of our natural resources. And so we should always be aware that so much of what we have is a communal resource and not an individual one. And so may we be like Moses, honoring it and respecting it for as long as we can. And together we say, Amen. And now I'm going to ask Wayne to go clean up the Oneg space for us. I'm going to ask Richard to come forward. Richard Proper, our VP of Finance. He's got some announcements. Richard wanted to use that mic. Come on forward.
Okay, now I'm using the cantors. Now it's on. Okay, great. Everybody can hear me? So I'm Richard Proper. I'm the VP of Finance for the Board of Directors for Kol Tikva. Forgot these glasses are for close-up. Good to see all of you. Thank you, Rabbi John, cantorial soloist Joel. Aaron, man of patience, I've been told. You did beautifully. And we know you're going to be great tomorrow. There's a gift that the board offers to those who go through the bar mitzvah process or the b'nai mitzvah process.
The board has to deal with many gifts, and we wanted to make it interesting. So your parents probably have a car. You've probably seen the keys for the car, right? When we were growing up, keys were small things, you know. Today we know keys can be very large things. So there were over 36 different B'nai Mitzvahs this year. One of them is a key to a Lamborghini. Or this may be something important Judaically that you will hold for the rest of your life. Which do you want? The important Judaic artifact. Yes, okay, so that's what this will be. I will hand this to you when I come down. Who wants a Lamborghini? So, to some announcements, which I will try to make interesting. And they all are, and they're all enjoyable. Tu B'Shvat is coming up. Bring your family, grandkids, nieces, nephews, and friends to our Tu B'Shvat Shabbat happening, Saturday, February 4th at 9:30 a.m. There will be fun on the playground, a bouncy, a Tu B'Shvat themed art project, a Tu B'Shvat themed nosh, and of course a mini service featuring a story, songs, and some prayer with Rabbi John and cantorial soloist Joel. The event is geared for families with kids ages 2 to 8, or those of you who would like to act 2 to 8. And for our adults, enjoy the New Year of the Trees at our Tu B'Shvat Seder on February 6th. Wine, fruit, and a yummy dinner, and all the warm atmosphere of the Deegan home. Register now because space is limited to 30 people. There is an Intro to Judaism that is starting this Sunday. Rabbi? Okay. So for those of you who need a little more, it's not too late to sign up. It runs 10 Sundays and a Shabbat dinner. Questions? Ask Rabbi John. So now comes the fun announcements. Right, Wayne? Okay. First and foremost is poker. There is still time to grab a seat at the table. I just registered today. We will even be offering a limited time of a flash deal that ends tonight at midnight. So you can get bonus chips if you register tonight. And if you sign up a friend, you'll earn even more. God, there's a lot of verbiage in this. Details are on our website, so bring your better halves, friends, or just come by to enjoy the night. Saturday, February 4th, tickets are available on our website. And if you don't play poker, we will still have a fun night planned for you. Join us upstairs for art games and Martinis and Weenies 2.0. Please don't ask me to define that. Most importantly, save the date for our gala, or gala. There's a debate as how this is pronounced. Our annual gala will be held on May 20th, and we are sponsoring the Hanishes this year. There are sponsorships available. And our first annual, somebody wrote this copyright, there's no such thing as first annual. This is our first Kol Tikva Variety Spotlight Show. It is going to be here. It is going to be March 25th. Bring your talent on stage. You may have talent that you are dying to show in front of an audience. Now is the time. We are looking for you. You can sign up at our website. Please visit our website for more information on all events. A warm welcome to anyone who is joining us for the first time this evening. I look forward to chatting with you at our Oneg, generously sponsored by the Uzan family in honor. Did I say that right? Uzan? Yes? Uzan family in honor of Aaron's bar mitzvah. Thank you for this evening and Shabbat Shalom.
We turn to page 598 for the Mourner's Kaddish. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died in this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. On our current Kaddish list, the following are recently departed. Dina Leica, remembered by the Friedman family. Carol Glover, remembered by the Russell family. Michael Kesner, remembered by the Kesner, Woolen, and Wildman families. Gloria Katzman, remembered by the Friedman and Katzman families. Leonard Bell, remembered by the Josephson family. Jack Simone, remembered by the Simone, McGonigal, and Schuffman families. We also hold in our prayers those taken by gun violence that occurs on an all too frequent basis, those who have died of COVID, those that have passed through the floods, fires, and other natural and unnatural disasters, and those killed in regional conflicts. We also think of those who died during this season in years past. Theodore Gerald Balin, Richard Batchley, Elsie Beacon, Beatrice Berman, Alan Bomberg, Martin Boyer, Carol Brookman, Eva Kahn, Denise Embick, Karamat Fakheri, Stanley Allen Fisher, Florence Glazer, Sandra Goodwin, Aaron Moses Heller, Dorothy Jacobs, Herb Kern, Sandra Gloria Latt, Lester Levy, William Levy, Marvin Miner, Lois Polakov, Jack Ribbons, Matilda Soror, Betty Schenken, Cecilia Snyder, Selma Steinberg, Gail Weiner, and Edith Zajdek. If you have an additional name for our Yortzeit or Kaddish list, please share it with us now. If you're in the first 7 days of mourning Shiva, I ask you to please rise. If you're in the first 30 days of mourning Shloshim, I ask you to please rise. If you're in the first year of mourning, please rise. If you're observing a Yortzeit, please rise. These are the mourners in our midst. We rise to show them our love and our support. We are on page 598. Yitgadal v'yikadash me Rabba, v'yamad divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yamechon v'chayed chol beit Yisrael, b'galav yizman kari v'yimru, Yehei shmei Rabba mivarak le'olam olamei amaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha b'rechu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace on high grant peace to all who mourn, to all Israel, and to all humankind. And together we say, please put your arms around the people next to you if you know them. If you do not, ask their permission first.
Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Aaron, bring your family forward so you guys can hold our Kiddush cup tonight. Come on, the whole family can come forward. Aaron, hold up the Kiddush cup for us. And we're going to do a short Kiddush tonight. It's grape juice, don't worry. Or maybe it's too bad. I don't know, whichever it is. Let's all hold up our imaginary Kiddush cups. Here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Take a little drink. Yeah. Now if I can get the whole family to hold that. Mom, help out. Okay, and now we're going to point and then go yummy, yum, yum.
Yum, yum, yum.
I'm going to get a picture of the family at the same time. All right, and now let's do the hamotzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. Shabbat shalom, everybody. We got the oneg in the next room. Take a little bite of the challah. I need someone to do that to make the prayer kosher.
Yafe hayom Shabbat shalom.
Come get some challah.
Yafe hayom Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat